Yeah. All right. We can start. Okay. Call the regular meeting of September 6, 2022 to order. So Madam Clerk, can we do the roll call?
Chairman Ford.
Here.
Vice Chair Duncan. Here. Morgan is absent. Commissioner Griffin is absent. Commissioner Nunley is absent. Commissioner Osmani is absent. Commissioner Ramos is absent. Commissioner Ross?
Here.
Commissioner Stajabu? Here. Commissioner Starks?
Yes.
And Commissioner Wu?
Yes.
Thank you. And then I do need to announce that there is a change to the agenda on the public hearing, item 2, the resolution SHRC 2023-16 is being pulled, and we are changing the motion to close the public comment period instead of adopt the resolution. And there are no other changes to the agenda.
Okay, just to confirm we have a quorum.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll now move to the public comment section of the agenda. Madam Clerk, can you please read the comment script printed on the agenda?
Right. Persons wishing to address the commission on subjects not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the commission may do so at this time. The commission cannot discuss or take action on matters not on the agenda for this meeting. To speak on an agenda item, complete a speaker's card and give it to the clerk. If you are joining via Zoom or phone, please use the raise your hand feature or press *9 on your phone. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes per item.
Madam Clerk, are there any speakers?
I do not have any cards, but there is a hand raised online, so we do have one.
Thank you.
Are you ready? Latanya?
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Litiani Lam Ewan, and I am a resident here in the Mirasol Village. I understand that what I am about to bring up is not on the agenda. I just wanted to bring attention to a couple of matters. The first is that while my family was displaced, there was some rodent infestation in our vehicle. And I wanted to bring light to this situation because I've met a lot of resistance with the Oak Park Community Management Office. And I have been in correspondence with Angela Jones, who I understand is now on leave or temporary leave. But I just wanted the council to understand that it's a very frustrating time, right? Especially after COVID. I'm a single parent of 4 boys who have witnessed a lot of trauma during this whole displacement. And now the fact that our vehicle was vandalized or eaten by the rodents, and we are still awaiting resolution. So I just wanted to bring this up because it's a really trying situation that has now transpired to our experience here in the Mirasol Village. I understand with all the funding and the investors, it's just a lot of confusion for us residents. I'm not only speaking for myself, but there are a few other mothers and a few other parents and residents who would like to have a community that thrives. We are confused because we are being told by John Stewart that we are to go back to SHRA. And then when we try to reach to SHRA, I myself have been repeatedly ignored by those in position who could help, who we would think could help. So yes, I just thank you for the opportunity. I hope that I could be in contact with a few of you thereafter. I've attended the RAD meeting, this quarterly RAD meeting this last month. I've been in contact consistent trying to get an answer. I've called the 1390 phone number, and that young lady told me someone would reach back out to me within 48 hours. It had never happened. Again, my experience with the ombudsman, it's as if I'm being ignored because there's no answers coming out. I've also been in correspondence with Mark Hammondson for the last 2 months, and we are still awaiting a resolution. So, yes, I thank Amber, the young lady, the clerk, who just called me about 10-15 minutes ago as I was trying to get access to the meeting. But hopefully in the future, a few of us residents could dialogue perhaps. You know, I've even tried to get in contact with Marissa here at the open house on May 31st, and she just totally evaded and left without my having an opportunity to speak with her in the end of May. Again, this is just because mentally is frustrating and depressing. But for myself to let this go, I've tried to and let it go, but it's even more depressing. And so I just hope that we can find some resolution or get some answers, some transparency as to how we can operate here in this new community. It's a beautiful community, is still being developed, but there are other issues. There were several gun shootings. There are homeless people coming around. If you can understand, there's so many more things, but I don't want to take any more time in respect of your meeting, of the meeting here. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We will now move to the consent items on the agenda. Madam Clerk, can you read the consent item wording?
All matters listed on consent are to be approved by one motion unless a commissioner or the public requests that separate action is taken on a specific item.
Move to consent by Commissioner Wu, and second by Commissioner Starks. Are there any objections? We will now, Seeing that there are no objections, the motion passes unanimously. We will now move to the public hearing item. Madam Clerk, please read the title of agenda item number 2.
Approval of the 2024 Annual Public Housing Plan for the Housing Authority of the City of Sacramento and the Housing Authority of the County of Sacramento, and approval for submission of the 2024 Public Housing Agency Annual Plan, Admissions and Continued Occupancy Policy, and the Administrative Plan to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, and I believe there will be a presentation from staff.
Good afternoon, Chairman Ford and members of the Commission. My name is Renee Viborni. I'm a Program Integrity Analyst for the Housing Authority. Today, I'm presenting the proposed significant changes to the 2024 Public Housing Agency Plan, which includes the Annual Plan, the Admissions and Continued Occupancy Policy, ACOP, and the Administrative Plan, also known as the ADMIN Plan. The PHA Plan is a comprehensive guide to the public housing agency's policies, programs, operations, and strategies for meeting local housing needs and goals. This annual review process of the PHA Plan allows our agency to receive feedback from the community and improve our policies and procedures. There are a total of 20 proposed changes to the ACOP. 16 are a result of the Housing Opportunity Through Modernization Act of 2016, also known as HOTMA. On July 29, 2016, the Housing Opportunity Through Modernization Act of 2016 was signed into law. HOTMA makes numerous amendments to the United States Housing Act of 1937, including changes to income calculations and reviews. The purpose of HOTMA is to streamline processes and reduce administrative burdens on housing providers while also reducing burdens on assisted families. The final rule implementing HOTMA are regulations we are required to implement by January 1st, 2024. The following sections of HOTMA regulations have been updated in the Admissions and Continued Occupancy Policy and the Administrative Plan. Section 102, addressing income for both the ACOP and the Admin Plan. Section 103, addresses over-income families in the ACOP only. Section 104, setting asset limits for both the ACOP and the Admin Plan. The details of the updated proposed changes are posted to the SHRA website. In addition to HOTMA regulations, we made the following proposed changes to the ACOP. Chapter 8, Involuntary Transfers. Clarification on how security deposit is transferred to a new unit and acceptance of a unit. The agency also added a new policy regarding weapons storage to Chapter 9. My colleague, Maria Abdallah, is here to present you with the proposed changes to the Administrative Plan. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon, Chair Emmerthorpe and members of the Commission. My name is Maria Dallas, and I'm a Program Integrity Analyst for the Housing Choice Voucher Program. The Housing Choice Voucher Administrative Plan provides a comprehensive guide to the Housing Authority's policies, operations, and strategies for meeting local housing needs and goals consistent with the Housing Authority's overall goal to improve operating efficiencies and services. It is reviewed and updated annually with input from the public. The detailed proposed changes are listed on the SHRA website and included in the Commissioner's packets. Today I'm presenting the changes proposed to the 2024 Housing Choice Voucher Administrative Plan. The following are a few changes are due to the Housing Opportunity through Modernization Act of 2016 regulation changes. Expanded income exclusions, change how medical allowances and deductions are calculated, change in calculations for asset total value and asset income, change in the minimum amount to process an income change. The following changes are based on the agency's updated policies. Change the required documentation when adding additional members to the household participating families, extending the timeline inspections are valid for project-based voucher units, change the informal hearing policy, including the timelines. The annual plan, including the ACOP, admin plan, and these proposed changes were made available to the public on July 24th. SHRA staff consulted with the Resident Advisory Board and Legal Services of Northern California to review these changes. The Sacramento Resident Advisory Board submitted a letter of support on August 30th, 2023. Public comments were received from Legal Services of Northern California, which we will respond to in our next Commission meeting. Renee and I are available for any questions you may have, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you. Recognizing Commissioner Ross. Any questions? Okay. No problem. Any questions from Commissioner? Okay. Madam Clerk, are there any public comments?
Can you open the public hearing?
Oh, I'm sorry. I will now open the public hearing.
I have no public comments.
Okay. Commission, I'd now like to ask commissioners for a motion to close the public comment period.
I move to close.
Moved by Commissioner Duncan and second by Commissioner Wu. Are there any objections? Seeing that there are no objections, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you. See you next time.
We'll now move to agenda item number 3. Madam Clerk, can you please read the title?
Villa Hardin and Coral Gables approval of supplemental tax exempt bonds.
Thank you, and there will be a staff presentation.
Good afternoon, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Whitney Hinton, Program Manager in Development Finance. Staff is requesting approval of supplemental bond allocation not to exceed $1 million for the Villa Hardin Coral Gables project. Villa Hardin in Coral Gables is located in the Meadowview area of the city of Sacramento. This project is a workforce and permanent supportive housing development. In August of 2020, a disposition and development agreement, tax-exempt bonds, and loan commitments were approved to assist the developer rehabilitate 44 units and construct 38 new additional units. The affordability levels will be 25%, 30%, and 50% of area median income. John Stewart Company is both the developer and the property management company. Life Steps provides on-site case management, supportive services, plus 15 hours of resident services per week. That includes after-school programming and workforce development and enrichment programs. County Behavioral Health Services provides case management and supportive services to the households in the 15 units assisted with MHSA program funds. Construction began in November of 2021, and the project was scheduled to be completed by the end of February 2023. However, due to construction delays, the project was not completed until June of this year. As many of us witnessed this morning, the property is beautiful and is now complete. However, the delay added an additional $3 million in construction costs. The increased cost primarily is a result of extended mitigation of mold intrusion that was discovered in the rehabilitation, the addition of fire sprinklers in the existing units, increased construction loan interest, and an increase in temporary relocation expenses for the residents. The developer is filling the remaining $2 million gap by increasing tax credit equity, increasing the conventional loan, and the deferred developer fee. In closing, staff is requesting approval of the additional $1 million in supplemental bonds to cover the increased construction costs, and staff is available to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions from commissioners? Recognizing Commissioner Ross.
Not a question, but just a comment. So I was out there today, so congratulations, Director Dozier and all the staff. It was pretty cool. It was, what I liked was that the old stuff, the old buildings looked just as good as the new buildings. And so that was impressive. I got a chance to check it all out. And you know, being a person that's run housing development programs before, I think people were very happy, as well as noted by Granny, right? And that's the speaker, yeah. And so she was very supportive. And when she got moved from her old apartment and was not going to be relocated to her new one, she was upset. But when she saw what the new one looked like, she was like, I moved up to the Jeffersons, that's quoting in her deluxe apartment in the sky, as he said. So anyway, well done. And so I am not opposed to the tax bond, because you know there's always old bones, right? When you remove stuff, there's things that you discover and you have to fix. And as I'm starting to acquire accumulated age, I guess, you know, as my mom was saying, I said, why couldn't she just go down and get that can of soup out of there herself? And then she was like, well, you go do it, son. And now I'm looking for a few other people at my house to say, wait a minute, do I have to get this or can you? So, but I go on and get it. So I understand, and I'm glad that the apartments look as good as they are, and the people seem very happy. So congratulations, SHRA, and all those that were involved in that. Thank you.
What was the name of the speaker?
Granny, that's all I know. I can't. That's what she wants to be called. She's your granny too, yours and mine, right? There you go.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any public comments?
We have none.
All right, I'd like to ask Commissioner if there's a motion to approve the report prior to submission to the City of Sacramento.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Wu, second by Commissioner Ross. Are there any objections? And if there are no objections, we will now move to presentations.
All right, we have a budget presentation from the Administration Department.
Good afternoon, Chairman, Command 4, members of the Commission. My name is Jim Shields. I'm the Deputy Executive Director for Administration. And I'm here tonight to talk to you about the Administration Department's budget, our goals and objectives, and some of the accomplishments that we've had for 2023. So you can see on the slide, the total expenditures for the administration expenditures is $9.7 million, which is a little over 3% of the agency's total budget. And for the real estate and construction services, which is paid for by project money, is a little less than 1% of the total expenditures. And I would say that these numbers are just a little bit less than we had last year, so we've had reductions, and that's due to increased efficiencies that we've had through the agency. So the next slide goes into the agency's diversity, equity, and inclusion program. And what I'd like to do is focus on what we did 5 years ago. We had a 5-year plan that was launched in 2018 with a mission to build and lead a diverse workforce and inclusion workplace, to deliver outstanding public service to our communities. To date, the agency has accomplished all of our goals, as evident by our diverse numbers within the 5-year plan, which include having a workforce that is broadly reflective of the community and clients we serve, to identify and address barriers within the organizational systems that we can better serve our community, attracting and retaining a talented workforce skilled at working in an inclusive, respectful manner with one another and with clients that we serve. And the fourth one is to create processes, programs, policies, and services that meet the diverse needs of our clients. The agency will continue to improve on these goals and supplement the plan to continue to be the leader that we are. And so the next slide shows where we've come a long way. We've increased the percentages for our minorities quite a bit with Hispanic, Asian, and African Black American in the organization. So we're very proud of that accomplishment. The next slide goes into the Human Resource Department. The employee engagement continues to be a top goal for the agency. In 2023, the agency launched an employee engagement initiative starting with a survey that yielded a 75% response rate and an 82% positive employee engagement, which is very good. We also launched the employee self-assessment to help employees identify strengths and abilities to help formulate career paths at SHRA. In 2024, the agency will focus on skills and technical training development to create a customized organizational learning university and development programs for all SHRA classifications. The purpose of the SHRA University is to give SHRA a common foundational skill set to grow upon, deepen our various skills of experience, and ultimately release the talent and potential of every SHRA employee, as well as residents that have become employees of SHRA. We believe that developing employees' technical skills is key to improving employee retention. The agency will start by conducting a needs analysis with various departments and use this information to develop an SHRA University designed to provide the best technical training we can for our employees. We believe this will help fill the gap in our employee engagement, as employees have directly advocated for better and improved technical training to improve them and be successful in their roles. Next is the Information Technology Department. The number one goal in 2024, I need to go back one. I have another important goal for HR. The number one goal for HR is a new HRIS, Human Resource Information System. It's powered by NeilGov, which will become the agency's new human capital management, fully integrated, cloud-based system that will provide functionalities that employees can actually access the system and make changes to a lot of different issues that they have. For example, they can enter their time cards. We have a different system now, so it'll all be a one-stop shop for the employees. They can request time off, they can change their taxes, they can change direct deposit, they can access their W-2s and their pay stubs. And it's just a fully integrated system that we've not had, so we're looking forward to that in 2024. Okay, now to the next slide, IT. In the presentation, I've listed some of the most impactful projects that have tremendously helped the agency continue to support our most vulnerable community during the pandemic. These technology enhancements and improvements have streamlined our processes, making it easier for clients to access their documents related to waitlists, their application, and their files. In 2024, the IT team will focus on the following, and they do it today, but it's going to be a focus every day, on the critical work with their network security and looking at ransomware and how people are trying to access us. As you can see, the number of times people try to access our system, which is over 10,000. And those are the people that are trying to hack the system. So they work very hard at keeping our system secure. Number two, building a single-family tracking portable application used by our development team to provide visibility and assist with action events to our single-family portfolio. So that's another project they have. And they will continue to enhance this SAC waitlist to make it easier for our clients to check their status and update their information. And the last one is a new agency phone system. Will be upgraded in 2024. Next is procurement services. In 2023, a substantial amount of our procurement department's efforts were focused on implementing a new automated application through OpenGov. OpenGov Procurement is a cloud-based procurement software solution designed for government agencies to streamline the procurement process. It enables prospective businesses to respond to solicitations electronically through an online portal. Before, it was all paper, and now it's going to be all online, so it's much easier for our clients. We also believe this will be streamlined. It'll attract smaller organizations, minority organizations, and organizations that really struggle with trying to work with the government. So we're really trying to make it a lot easier for people to do business with us. In 2024, the department is making strides by conducting comprehensive training, which will enhance the skills of their employees for intake, contract circulation, and purchase orders. Additionally, procurement is revamping their on-base presence by updating procurement resources on the website and internet to make it easier to access their information. The next one is construction services. Construction has been very busy this year, and they're always busy every year. They've completed 17 large public housing projects and 21 family lending projects, which is working in the development department. They provide scope and budget reviews, and they manage the construction of the projects. So they're out there every day with the people that are developing these projects. They are working on RAD conversions, construction services. They coordinate and design the perform construction management for RAD, and they're working on Central City 1, and they're working on Edgewater and Capitol Terrace as well. They're currently also working on Central City 2. And one last thing is, years ago we had a program, it was a Welcome Home program. We had 76 homes that we took over and had to fully rehab. We finally finished that program, rehabbing all 76 and sold all 76 to people that were qualified for the housing. So that was quite an accomplishment for the organization. And the last one is the clerk. And you all know the clerk, Amber. Amber is new to us, and she does a really great job for us. She spent this last year updating our systems for the clerk, streamlining it, adding new management software. She worked real hard at transitioning us going from hybrid meetings to the full meetings that we had, so there's a lot of information that she had to work on. And so for next year, she's going to hold podium training for people that are coming up here trying to learn how to present, so she'll be doing that. She's going to create a formal training program for commissioners, so when new commissioners come on board, you won't just have to walk in and say, here I am, what do I do? So she's working on that. So we look forward to that. Thank you, Amber. So what I'd like to do now is just introduce some of the senior staff that work with me. Mike Taylor and Megan are here. Are you guys here? Right there. We have, of course, Amber's here. Vicki Smith, she works on a lot of development projects. Tracy Knighton, who's the HR manager, right there. And Mike Taylor and, Mike Snyder and Lauren Gray are your IT people. So we're available for any questions you may have.
Commissioners, are there any questions or comments from commissioners? All right, hearing that there are no comments or questions. Yes, Commissioner Ross, go ahead.
A couple things. So thank you for the report.
You're welcome.
Excellent. So I'm going to say as a commendation. So for expenditures for administration, only 3% out of all the, usually like nonprofits, you got 10, 15, higher than that. So I was just curious, how do you achieve just 3%?
Well, Michelle's been leading us for 15 years, and it's been all about process improvement. And we spent a lot of time coming up with ways to do our job better. And so that's the culmination of what we do. So we strive to keep our costs down because we want to spend the money on the operations. So that's typically what we do.
Hats off.
Thank you.
That's amazing. I would, yeah, 3%. My next question is under the human resources. So I'm seeing, which would be another commendation. I was just curious to how this is achieved. 65% of SHRA hires were Section 3 qualified. So 65% of all the new staff? because I asked that question a lot. How was that achieved?
Again, we have our diversity and inclusionary equity plan. We work very hard at that, and we try to attract the right people that believe in our mission. And these are the people that we get here that want to be here, that want to work here. And so Section 3 is really all about how much people make for income. And so, you know, we don't really target people by income, but we target people that want to work here. And it happens that a lot of people are Section 3. And also, we do hire our own residents, and we're very proud of that.
That's excellent. Yeah, I chair the Chatham County EEOAC, which is the Equal Employment Opportunity Advisory Committee. And so a couple of, this is one agency, there's a few others that happen within like behavioral health services, and there's a few others that seem to be able to achieve the diversity goals and giving people an opportunity for, and as I like to say, a hand up, not a hand out, and entry level into great government jobs. Everybody doesn't get that, and so at some point I'm going to save this sheet. So at some point I will maybe ask you to come, or maybe you, Mr. Shields, to come and present on that, because my goal is to recognize those the top 10, those the top 5 that are the MVPs, and then the other 5 would be the most improved within the county and so forth, that have been able to make improvements, and hopefully others may and put a compendium together of how other folks are doing it, and hopefully these other departments will be able to figure out some other kind of innovative ways, because that is absolutely impressive. 65%, because you know I keep asking that question. Are folks getting hired that need to be hired, that aren't getting hired at times in other places, and they need a hand up? So hats off to you all a second time, and maybe a third time, because I made 3 comments during this meeting. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, recognizing Commissioner Starks and then Commissioner Ramos.
I'm just going to make mine short. Michelle, Jim, you guys, and staff, you know, how long have I been here? I don't know. Years. But you guys, every year you up the ante, make it happen. And I just want to say on behalf of the group that, you know, our hats are off to you guys. You're making it happen for working poor people. And people don't know. Sometimes it's thankless what you guys are doing. You know, it's, you know, they're always trying to squeeze more out of you, and they don't realize just what you're doing. So thank you, and thank you, and thank you for all your hard work.
Commissioner Ramos.
Yeah, thank you for all this great information. Just a couple questions. So for diversity, equity, inclusion, it covers gender and racial ethnic identity. Does the DEI plan cover other identities such as LGBTQ? Are there any existing goals around those?
Yes, we cover everything.
Okay.
Yes, I don't have the specifics, but we absolutely do.
Okay.
Yes, we're very inclusive.
Wonderful. And then just out of curiosity, I noticed, so special projects, that seem to be the other department. What does special projects cover?
Is that in the presentation?
Oh, in the organizational chart.
Oh, Vicky, that's Vicky? Yeah, Vicky.
Are there any goals around that one, or is that just kind of ad hoc, whatever comes up?
Vicky is our resident expert, and she is working now, probably 90% of her time working with Christine in development. Okay. On the projects they have there.
Yes, Vicky does an excellent job, and because she has how many years of experience? A lot. A lot. But she has been very, very useful. For instance, when we're working on our home key projects and interfacing with the state of California, answering their millions and millions of questions. I mean, she has just been a godsend. So that's why she gets her own special category of special projects. And she delivers on all of those things.
Seeing that, Commissioner Stajabo.
Did I hear you say there's going to be an upgrade to the phone system? Excuse me.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did say that.
What do you have in mind on what's going to happen? Any ideas?
When will it happen?
What?
Well, we're looking for more, we have a cloud-based system now, and we're just looking for a little bit more functional, easier for employees and for our clients to use. And so we're looking at different systems right now.
Is something new and special out there?
There are, yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's a lot out there.
I mean,
Yes.
We had a previous phone system that really everyone loved, and for some reason, IT said we had to get rid of it. And so then we got a new system which everybody doesn't love. And so they are looking at some other types of systems that will better serve us, let's put it that way.
polls and say they haven't heard from anyone.
It's not a great system.
I would like to see that fixed. I want a special request.
Yes, okay, absolutely. Thank you. Does SMUD have one that we can, SMUD system?
All right.
Thank you.
Seeing that there are no additional comments or questions from commissioners, are there any public comments?
No public comments.
All right, we'll now move to the executive director's report.
Okay, just a couple of things. Again, I want to thank Commissioner Ross for coming out and celebrating with us today for Bill Hardeen and Coral Gables. It was just a joy to really see the culmination of years and years of work. I just encourage anyone, even if you just happen to be in the area, just to drive by. It's pretty impressive to see the renovation of the existing buildings and then the building of new ones on a vacant lot that the Housing Authority owned for many, many years, as long as I've been here. And to transform that into beautiful new housing for residents was just thrilling today. But the best, as Commissioner Ross said, was to hear from Granny, and she told everyone to call her that. We're not just making it up. Who really has become a pillar of that community, and talk about her experience and how she's adopted everyone and is everybody's granny. So it was just heartwarming, because that's really why we do it, not to build pretty buildings, but to make sure that we provide wonderful housing for those people who need it the most. So it was a great, great opportunity. These are always great days for us when we get to do ribbon cutting. So thank you for coming, and I encourage everyone to get a chance to do at least a drive-by there. Also, too, our next meeting is scheduled for September 20th, right? So we have 2 meetings scheduled in October and November. Is that correct, Amber? So make sure that those are on your calendar. We look forward to seeing you. So we have a few more meetings talking about budget, and then I'll finish up at the last one and kind of do a recap of our entire budget, and we'll go from there. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Commissioner Chair report, I don't have anything to report. Commissioner members, do you have anything to report? Birthdays? Celebrations, anything? No?
No, I was going to ask, is it IT, Reverend, was that one of the projects that you were talking about, Michelle, you know, on Broadway, the senior place, with Reverend Ike?
A tasker?
Yeah, it's a,
Holland.
I call him Ike because
Yes.
I know him from first. But is that one of the projects recently that?
Yes, we did a groundbreaking for the one on Broadway. Is that the one next to the Arbor? Yes, senior building. It's really, part 2. At the time, we really wanted to develop it all, but for all kinds of reasons, we ended up breaking it into 2 projects. But yes, we did a groundbreaking for that one, and then a week later, we did on Broadway, further on down, which is a family development at 1901. Yeah, 19th and Broadway. So it's really great that we're bringing projects online. So we're doing ribbon cuttings, people are moving in, but we also have quite a bit in the pipeline. The building across the street, I know Christine's like, don't tell them a date. Soonish, so what, next month or so, we'll be able to, I know we're supposed to do a walkthrough, make sure that they're on target. So that one is gonna be coming online, Capitol Park, before the end of the year. So we have a lot of great things happening, but we still need to keep our eye on the prize and understand that in order to keep this going, oh, I'm stealing my thunder for budget, so let me just stop at that.
Go ahead, Commissioner Sadavo.
The website, when I first started here, it wasn't really developed, and it's improved so much that when people ask me, how do I go about getting housing, I feel comfortable sending them to the website. At first, they couldn't navigate it, and now they're doing, I don't get the feedback, like I can't tell what to do and all that. So I want to congratulate the people who made it possible to pay our rent online and get information to the smallest detail of what we do here online. Thank you.
Thank you for that feedback. IT feels vindicated after the phone.
Yeah, just as another comment, just with respect to citizens. So there was somebody that I know who was having some issues with a tenant who had difficulty paying some rent, and I told him to go see the SHRA 2 program, and I talked with him over the weekend, and he said that the rent was paid, so thank you for that. So, yeah, I wanted to say that, because he could have been an upset landlord, but he was a happy one, and he didn't want to, he wanted to help that tenant out.
Oh, good.
So it was really not an adversarial type of thing. He said, she needs some help, where do I go? So, thank you for the sharing of that information, because without that, I would not have been able to direct him to that, because he was saying, what do I do? And I'm like, well, you should go to it. So I told him where to take a look at it. And maybe a while ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So thank you so much, and that was great. Thank you.
Commissioner Ramos?
Oh, yeah, on a different topic, question related to the hybrid meeting situation. I had to miss the last meeting because I was unfortunately sick with COVID. Wasn't as bad as fully recovered. Wasn't as intense as the first time I got sick with COVID, so it was a quick situation, but I couldn't attend the meeting. I did check with Amber around being able to participate remotely, but I know we had selected to use the traditional Brown Act provisions, so that would require making my home publicly accessible and would not want anyone in the public to come there and get COVID. So I do know that the new provisions that we did not choose does allow for remote participation in an illness situation where you don't have to bring people there. So unfortunately, the traditional method that we chose doesn't really accommodate being sick. So I guess what I'm curious is there any restriction on us having being able to use either one in any particular meeting, or having a mix where we can, or can we only be in one lane or the other? Because I do appreciate the larger flexibility with the traditional one, but it's a scheme that means that you can't participate if you're sick. So is there any ability to be able to use both at the same time? Like if one person was, I'm in Europe on vacation, but I still want to call in and I'll make my hotel room in Paris teleconference location. But if I'm sick here in Sacramento and I still want to participate, could we, at the same meeting, could you, or do you, can only be in one or the other? So I just wanted to see about
so it's Brad Nakano, General Counsel. So you cannot do both, you cannot elect to be in both regimes, because the other regime, they have a limitation on the number of remote meetings that any one individual commissioner could participate in. So if you flop back and forth, there would really be no way to, you would either be in the regime or not, because of those limitations on the number of times you could do it. As for being sick. There's no prohibition on participating, whether in person or remotely, if you're sick. Like you said, you would have to post and make your place of participation open to the public. And that would be up to you if you wanted to do that. I understand why you may not want to do that, but it'd be up to you if you wanted to do that. And then I guess the public would, if they wanted to show up at their own risk. But long story short, unfortunately, you cannot be in both because of the restrictions on the number of times you could possibly participate remotely in the other regime. So you know, like I said, if you wanted to, I think the restrictions, 2 times a year. The other regime has no restrictions on the amount of times, so you couldn't flip-flop and say, oh, well, since I've already used 2 under this regime, let me now hop into the other legal regime and not be subjected to the limitations just because I'm opening up my place of residence or wherever my location is to the public. So that's why you can only be in one.
Thank you, I appreciate that clarification. And it just seems like either scheme has some positives in terms of flexibility or being more accommodating for those recipients. We could have a merged one that has the best of both, unfortunately. I think there's been just a little bit of a resurgence in COVID, it seems, with more folks getting sick. And so it seems like it might be more possible that folks might be sick, and obviously then don't want folks opening their, wherever they're sick, to be a teleconference location. So the result is, if someone's sick, it just means that they can't participate. Thanks for the clarification.
Commissioner Ross?
Yeah, there's some, Commissioner Ramos, there's some state legislation that's in the process right now that I've heard to address that issue. So anyway, there may be some relief to that in the near future. So I think it's supposed to maybe be voted on this year or sometime. I heard on the news last week, I think.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Seeing that there are no additional questions or comments, I think there is no other business, so I think we will now adjourn the meeting.